What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Sasha Banks reveals future plans, and it doesn't seem that WWE is within them, a Ring of Honor legend rejoining WWE, Bray Wyatt's return incoming, a top AEW star has COVID, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Also check out Wrestlelamia.co.uk and our non-wrestling channel, Incredible. But now let's do the intro and get straight into our first story. Our first story looks at Sasha Banks, who reveals her future plans. Our top story today looks at the future plans of one Sasha Banks and how it seems that she has left the wrestling world behind. Banks, along with Naomi, walked out of the WWE back in May due to creative differences, and the popular duo haven't been seen on WWE television since. WWE, specifically Vince McMahon, ordered Banks and Naomi to be virtually erased from WWE, and this was seen in their subsequent removal from the WWE intro, as well as Michael Cole burying the duo live on SmackDown. During a recent interview with AHCH to Radio, the former women's champion would discuss her future plans, and she wouldn't mention WWE or wrestling in general during her answer. Banks stated, "There's so much that I'm creating right now, it's all under an umbrella. I'm an actor, writer, producer, and extraordinaire entertainer. All within those realms, I'm doing something. You just have to stay tuned. You have a microphone? That's something big I want to do. Not podcasting, but music. I don't know if that's the number one thing, because acting, there are a lot of things coming up acting right now. I'm really starting to focus my mind around music and the music realm and being kind of a director in the space of creating a musical video piece." Now it genuinely looks like Banks has decided to distance herself from pro wrestling indefinitely. There were rumors that Banks had re-signed with WWE and an agreement had been met that would see a return to the company. However, this is yet to have materialized. Triple H has admitted in interviews that he wants Banks back in WWE, but if Banks is so busy with other projects, Banks committing herself fully to WWE is going to be a really tough task. What do you guys make of this story? Do you think Banks will eventually return to WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a Ring of Honor legend rejoining WWE. A PCO is a staple of the Ring of Honor product, but what fans often forget about the former Ring of Honor champion is that he used to be part of WWE. PCO previously had two stints in WWE, one in 1993 and 1995 as part of the underrated tag team the Quebecers, and one between 1998 to 2000. During an interview with Wrestling Inc., PCO discussed a potential return to WWE now that Triple H is in charge, and this is what the former three-time WWE Tag Champion had to say. "Yeah, I think so. I don't think I had a bad relationship with Vince, but I think new blood and guys like Paul, Triple H, other than I had my altercation with his best buddies at the time, I remember when he came into the WWE from WCW, we rode together. We did a bunch of shows where we shared a car and we were on the road together for almost 2-3 weeks, almost a month." Next up, a major update on Bray Wyatt's eventual WWE return. Bray Wyatt's WWE return has been rumoured for months, and several reports have indicated that Bray Wyatt is going to return to WWE. However, when this is going to take place remains unclear. Wyatt was shockingly released from WWE in 2021, and since his release, a number of stories have surfaced in relation to the conflicts between Wyatt and former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon. Zero News, who have broken several stories on Twitter over the past few months, tweeted yesterday that Wyatt's return isn't a matter of if, it's a matter of when. They tweeted, "Sources stated last night, it's more of a case of if when Bray Wyatt returns to WWE than if he returns. It's believed due to how big of a return he will be, it won't be the same random Raw or SmackDown secondary PLE. Triple H is keeping all returns secret, only a few people in the business know." Wyatt's close friend Braun Strowman returned to the WWE this past week, and fans are speculating that Strowman's return opens the door for Wyatt to return to the company. During Wyatt's time in WWE, he was presented as one of their top stars, and he would even win the world title on several occasions. Wyatt returning to the company would certainly be a huge name added to the roster. It looks like it's gonna happen. But would you guys be happy to see Wyatt back in WWE? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a call-up Nixed For NXT Duo. This week's edition of SmackDown featured yet another appearance by JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, collectively known as Toxic Attraction. The duo would come up short in a match against WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Raquel Rodriguez and Aaliyah, and it was presented by Michael Cole as if the duo were now a permanent staple of the SmackDown roster. The main roster call-up of the duo was seemingly confirmed online by a number of sources, but according to Ringside News, Toxic Attraction are not officially on the main roster as of yet. It's worth noting that the Toxic Attraction leader Mandy Rose is still very much the face of the women's division in NXT 2.0, and there appears to be no signs of Rose being called up to the main roster. If WWE decides to abruptly pull Jane and Dolan from NXT, it certainly messes up any storyline plans for the collective trio, and it would be difficult for WWE to explain why Rose hasn't joined her teammates on SmackDown. Next up, Dolph Ziggler wants an insane WrestleMania match. A former world champion Dolph Ziggler is now considered a veteran of WWE. Ziggler has done everything there is in WWE, but there's one more thing he would like to do before he hangs up his boots. During an interview with Casual Conversations with the Classic, Ziggler revealed that he wants to face Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania in a 60-minute MMA style match. Ziggler added, "You know what I'd like to do? I would like to do an hour with Shinsuke Nakamura and have it tie into his MMA and striking background and my wrestling background, so with kind of an MMA style feel to it with a build and a 45 minutes to an hour to make that where you see where your body does that fight or flight halfway through to where you want to go is some legitimate stuff. Make it maybe like over in Japan where it's not quite genuine UFC MMA fight, but it's pretty damn close. We can get some strikes and some chokes. That'd be fun because I love Shinsuke. He does some of the coolest stuff. He's a great guy and he's so good. And he understands us so well that we relate to each other so well, I think." As Ziggler had an interesting 2022, he would win the NXT title earlier this year, and since dropping the NXT title to Bob Brecker, he's been presented as a babyface on the Raw brand by having TV feuds with the likes of Theory and Finn Balor. Next up, a top WWE star says Raw feels like NXT. Rhea Ripley has had a fantastic 2022 so far. Since turning heel as part of the Judgment Day, Ripley has been able to show off her villainous side and show fans a different side of her character. Ripley's strong presentation has continued since Triple H has taken over WWE Creative, and this is likely to continue. Triple H was a huge fan of Ripley's work in NXT and evidently believed that she was a top star. But according to Ripley, since Triple H took the reins of WWE, the Raw brand has begun to feel like NXT. During an appearance on the Gorilla Position, Ripley would discuss Triple H's takeover, and this is what the former women's champion had to say. "I feel like it's NXT for me personally. I don't know how other people feel, but for me, it feels like that NXT environment, which I love so much while being there. I have all my friends back, the ones that have moved up and the ones that have come back." And finally, a top AEW star has COVID. Our final story today shares some unfortunate news related to Eddie Kingston, who was tested positive for COVID-19. Kingston was scheduled to team with Homicide and AEW star Wheeler Yuta against Jay White and the Good Brothers at the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong tapings. Naturally, due to Kingston's positive test, he was pulled immediately. It's unknown if Kingston will miss any time away from AEW. It's likely that as soon as Kingston tests negative, he'll be able to appear on AEW television again, as well as commit to other dates in New Japan Pro Wrestling. We here at Wrestlelamia wish Eddie Kingston a speedy recovery. But there you have it, folks, the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.